If you've ever lived in the city of Atlanta or even visited, I'm sure you know about the Atlanta Braves baseball team. One ritual that's been a part of the Atlanta Braves for years is the Tomahawk Chop. Hundreds of thousands of fans participate in this chant every season, and it represents the unity and commitment we have to the team and to the game of baseball. As a season ticket holder myself, this is something I do quite often, so I'm here to break it down for you. Muscles involved in the tomahawk chop include the following: triceps, biceps brachii, brachialis, brachioradialis, pectoralis major, the clavicular portion, anterior deltoid, extensor digitorum, only if you are not holding a foam tomahawk. If you are holding a foam tomahawk, the two following muscles will come into play: flexor digitorum profundus and flexor pollicis brevis. Motions involved in the tomahawk chop are as follows. If you have a pretend tomahawk, which is your hand, you would keep your fingers nice and extended. That motion would be against gravity. If you're actually holding a tomahawk, you would have to flex your fingers and flex your thumb to grip your tomahawk. Those motions will be gravity assisted, as follows. Now, to actually do the tomahawk chop, we have some shoulder flexion, which is against gravity. We have some elbow extension, which is gravity assisted. And then we have some elbow flexion, which is against gravity. And that's your tomahawk chop. There are three types of contractions that your muscles can do. They can do an isometric contraction, meaning when they fire, there's actually no movement occurring. A concentric contraction, meaning when they do fire, that they're shortening. Or an eccentric contraction, meaning when they fire, they are lengthening. So our tomahawk chop muscle contractions include concentric contraction of the anterior delt and pectoralis major in shoulder flexion. In elbow extension, our triceps are in a concentric contraction, while the elbow flexors are in a eccentric contraction. When you do elbow flexion, it's opposite. The concentric contraction is of the biceps and brachialis and brachioradialis, while the elbow extensors, triceps, are in an eccentric contraction. When we think about holding our tomahawk, our finger extension, that is extensor digitorum, and that's an isometric contraction. When we get ready to actually grip a real tomahawk, finger flexion, the flexor digitorum profundus and the flexor pollicis brevis are both in a concentric contraction. Those are your contractions for the tomahawk chop. In some motions in the body, you may be presented with the force couple. A force couple is when two or more muscles play as synergists and create a radial force around a joint. So do we have a force couple in the tomahawk chop? I think so. When we do shoulder flexion, we have what you call a force couple that is doing a upward rotation on the scapula. It's when the upper and the lower traps are pulling in one direction, and then your serratus anterior is pulling into another direction, creating that upward force on your scapula. So there's your force couple. Now that you know everything you need to know about the tomahawk chop, it's time to get your chop arm strong. So some strengthening exercises include bicep curls, which work out your biceps. You can either do them with weight or a TheraBand. Extension arms, which is extending your arm behind you. That's going to work your triceps. And also you can do that with a weight or a TheraBand. And then finger webs. Finger webs include you putting your fingers inside of a rubber band and you open and close and open and close. And that's going to help with your flexors and extensors. Now that you've known all your strengthening exercises, you're 100% ready to do the tomahawk chop at your next brave game. Chop on.